So Apple just released the super hyped up AI photo editor in the most recent developer beta for iOS 18.1. And this thing is pretty freaking impressive. Let me show it to you.
To access this, you literally just open your photos, click a photo you want to edit, and go down to the normal place you'd edit or crop a photo, and you now see this new cleanup window. All you have to do is draw on the thing you want to delete. Doesn't need to be accurate or anything. It's gonna highlight it, and poof, it's gonna disappear, and it looks so freaking good. I'll put a before and after overlaid on the screen here. A little bit more of a practical example. Here's a picture of me surfing, but there's a person in the background. Again, I just go down to edit, hit clean up. Apparently you can also circle the thing, so you don't need to like accurately draw on it, and poof, just gone. That looks so good. I wonder if I could even like circle myself. That's insane, and it actually looks really good. We'll like do the surf leash there. That's like almost too easy. Another insanely cool thing I found out when playing around with it, check this out. If you click on cleanup and then don't circle anything, it's gonna automatically detect things that you're likely to wanna remove. You don't need to select them or anything. You just tap them and they're gone. I wanna remove little wall sconce, tap, and it's gone. If you wanna use this for yourself, your phone has to be updated to the latest iOS 18.1 developer beta. And you'll need to make sure that you have Apple Intelligence enabled.
Now, I know this tech isn't anything new, but the exciting thing here is how well integrated it is. The fact that literally anybody could use this, and it's integrated into the apps and editing tools that we're already using every day. I think it's pretty incredible. And I think they implemented it in a thoughtful way where they only let you use AI to remove things from images and not like doctor them and change things where you get kind of ethically questionable in the world of AI. I don't know. I like it a lot. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you've ever wanted to get into electronics as a hobby, you want to learn how to use Arduino, build your own custom projects, but you don't know where to start, this is the video for you because I'm going to show you exactly how. Whether you want to just learn about it in general, or if you have a specific project that you want to build, these first steps are going to be the same for everybody. Anybody could do this. You need no other experience. You don't need to know how to code or anything. In fact, learning Arduino is one of the best ways to learn how to code. So your first step is going to be to buy an Arduino Starter Kit. That's going to be an Arduino that comes with a whole bunch of different parts. I have this one linked in my bio. It's only $35 for what you're getting here. That's really good value. In that kit, you're going to get an Arduino, which has a whole bunch of ports that you could plug pretty much anything into. The Arduino then gets plugged into your computer, and you use the Arduino software to write really simple code that basically commands what each and every single one of these pins does. Now, the Arduino by itself is pretty useless. That's why I highly recommend buying one of these kits, which comes with a whole bunch of the most common components that you're usually going to be using alongside the Arduino. Now, before I explain exactly how to do that, I'm going to explain to you how we're going to think about learning this thing, because that's going to be the key to not getting overwhelmed and learning this very, very quickly. So you're going to have all of these different parts that came with your kit, and you're not going to know where to start. So what we're going to do is start by learning component by component. This is the really crucial part. So this is an LED. It's one of the simplest components you can use with an Arduino. So instead of trying to build a big project right off the bat, we're just going to learn how LEDs work specifically and how the Arduino talks to LEDs. We're just going to focus on that. We're going to plug it into the Arduino pins. And then we're not going to write our own code or anything. I'm not going to touch the keyboard, but what we're going to do is use the example code for an LED. This code simply just flashes an LED. I know this might look intimidating, but it's super simple. We're just mapping the LED to a certain pin on the Arduino. We're writing it high to turn on. We're waiting a second, delay 1,000 milliseconds. Then we're writing it low, so it should just flash it every second. And just like that, we have a flashing LED. Now we're going to get rid of the LED and learn another component. This component's a button. Same thing, we're going to plug the button in, just download some sample code that does some really simple things, like tells the Arduino that there's an input thing being plugged in to pin 12. Then what it's going to do is just read out onto the screen whether the button is pressed or the button's released. And then just like that, whenever we press the button, it's going to read out on the screen. Now to start, that's all you're going to do. You don't need to write any code. You just take all the components that came with your kit and run the default test code. But here's where the magic happens, where you learn to start actually making your own things. So we know how the button works and we know how the LED works. We have them both hooked up. We're going to go into our code where we had the button push detecting before, but instead of printing it out to the screen, we're going to go back to our code where we flashed the LED, copy and paste the line that turned the LED on and off, and use that to trigger when the button is pushed and released. And check this out. Now, whenever we push the button, it's now going to turn the LED on and off. I know this here doesn't seem like a big deal, but this is literally going to be the fundamentals of how you learn everything. You learn an individual component, then you try kind of mashing the code together just by copying and pasting it, and a lot of the times it's just going to work. As you progress and use more and more complicated components, you're going to start learning more and more about how all the code works and what things you need to factor in when copying and pasting pieces of code. And through that process, you're going to eventually learn how to write basic Arduino code, which is actually C++. Just go slow, component by component. When you want to build something, maybe there's a new type of screen that you haven't used before and you don't know how it works. Don't try to just build the whole thing. Learn how the screen works, and then, hey, you already understand how to use a button, how to use all these other components, and you're just going to be able to factor that in. You're going to have this huge cornucopia of parts and resources that you have to build this thing, and then all of a sudden you know how to build electronics. So that's the process we're going to follow, but how do we actually learn this all? How do we find all the code, and how do we set it all up? For this, I'm going to point you towards a really good YouTube series that walks you through this exact thing. It's by this guy on YouTube named BV3D. It's a multi-part series, Getting Started in Electronics #1. This will walk you through each of those individual projects, how to light an LED, how to use a button, how to use all of the other components in this kit, and crucially, he also walks you through exactly how to analyze the code, what each line is doing, and how to go through step by step. If you buy that kit and follow this guide, you will know how to build electronics better than most people out there. I really hope that helped, and I really hope some of you do dive into this. Not only is this a really great hobby, it's a great way to spend time, it's a useful skill, it's a really good way to inspire others. I can't speak highly enough about this. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to dive in a little bit more. And thanks for watching. Happy tinkering.